Yesterday
This
or day before
conference will now
yesterday
be recorded.
It's
recording.
uploaded into the drive, right? Just check in the drive. As I mentioned earlier, you'll not be getting any update on the video upload. Just check in the time in the drive randomly in a day. Whenever I'll upload, you can see that video there. Or else do one thing, check at morning 10:30 India time or evening 9:30 India time. Everyone. So check at these two times in a day. That is morning 10:30 India time or evening 9:30 India time. Okay. You should see the videos on the drive. But videos are updated until yesterday. So in the last session, we were discussing about the delivery document types, and we finished discussing about the delivery document types, right? So the next, that means once we finish create an order, then next we create a delivery, then next comes is the billing, right? So billing documents. So billing and accounting are two different. Billing and accounting are two different. Billing happens in the SD module. Accounting happens in the FI module, right? So you create a bill, that means you create an invoice and you just save it. Nothing will happen. It's just a billing document. Unless until a billing document is released to accounting, system will not trigger invoice. Okay, when system will trigger an invoice? Only when a billing document is released to accounting, right? So let's see what is billing document and billing document type controls we have. So again, billing document also has a header and item. So what is the controls for billing document? It is WOFA. WOFA, and we have different kinds of billing types. So standard billing types are F1, F2. F2 is a standard invoice with reference to the delivery, and F1 is a standard invoice with reference to an order. And we have F5. It's a proforma invoice, order related proforma invoice. Order related proforma invoice. F8, delivery related proforma invoice. G2, credit memo. L2, debit memo. IV, intercompany invoice. IV, intercompany billing. S1, invoice cancellation. S1, invoice cancellation. Like this, we have different kinds of billing document types. So let's go to the standard F2 and discuss what exactly is F2, the controls. Yep. So the first field is number range assignment. You see here, see in the sales document or a delivery document or even the customer master, we have seen two types of number ranges. One is internal, one is external, right? We have seen internal and external. But here in the billing document, you are seeing only one called as internal. There will not be any external number range for billing document because billing document numbers should be in a sequence and they are legal. So user will not have any option of entering a billing document number. It should be automatically generated and in a sequence it should be generated. So number range for the billing document type is internal, only internal. And item increment, the same items what are there in the delivery. So we don't explode anything bomb or sub items. It's 10, only serial number 10. And SD document category, the same thing whatever we have at the uh, order type or delivery type. So how system is identifying this is an invoice or other document as something else by seeing this. M means invoice. O means credit memo. U means proforma invoice. Sorry, what is this? F2, right? F2. Proforma invoice. F5 or F5. U. U means proforma invoice. So how system is identifying any document, what kind of document it is by again seeing this particular SD document category. The next is posting block. This is important, posting block. I just told you, right, there are two things. One is billing and one is accounting. There is billing, which is happening in the SD, and accounting happening in the FI. So certain times what you can do is you can block the release. That means you created a billing document, but you don't want to release it to accounting. You want some authorized persons to check it and release, like say credit memo. Okay, you don't want to directly release it. You want to authorized person to check it. So what you can do, you can put a posting block. So you see, this is the posting block. If any time there is a posting block, how a authorized person will release it and where to release it. So first of all, how do we create a billing document? We create a billing document with a transaction code VF01, right? This is the billing document type VF01. Okay, so if any document is blocked for release, I'll go to the change mode /n VF02. Let's say some document is blocked for release. Then what an authorized person will do? He will enter that particular billing document number in the change mode, and you see this green flag, release to accounting. Okay, so if you put a posting block here, system will not post the document to accounting. So an authorized person has to go to change mode and enter that particular document number, and he should release it to the accounting. He should click this, so the system will follow the next steps and release it to the accounting. All right. But it may not be possible, right? So to release every document, there might be hundreds of documents every day. So it may not be possible to release each and every document going to the change mode, clicking on the flag. So if this is the case, how do you release all at one go in a batch? That is, we have a transaction VFX3. Go to VFX3 transaction, release billing documents to accounting. So how do we release billing documents to accounting in a batch? That is through this VFX3 transaction. Okay, and why it is incomplete, you can specify here, that is pricing error or error in accounting or accounting block. So we have a posting block, right? Accounting block. So that's the reason this document is incomplete. So that is posting block. Then next is and see, as I mentioned, billing document is a legal document. You cannot play around with a billing document much. You can customize a sales order or a delivery document to the level whatever you want, but billing document should be in line with the legal things. Okay, so you cannot customize it as ever you want it. So you cannot have a external number range, right? So a lot of things you need to follow that particular land of law. So statistics, you know, right, whether you want to release this particular document to accounting, so sorry, release the document, the post these values of this document to reporting tools, whether you can pull the reports. And rebates, you know, we discussed about if you want to process rebates, you need to have three prerequisites. First is in the sales or configuration rebate proactive. Second is rebates in the customer master billing tab. This is the third one, relevant for rebate. You need to activate this if you want to process rebates. And how you want to settle the rebates. That means whether you want to settle the rebates partially or fully, or final settlement or a partial settlement, how you want to settle the rebates with this document type, that you can maintain it here. What is the document? We are F5, right? We go to F2, invoice cancellation, S1, invoice list type, LR. That means you want to list all the invoices into one. That means if you want to consolidate invoice, then VF21, VF24, we use with the LR. Reference number and assignment number, these two fields, reference number, assignment number. So as I mentioned, billing will happen in SD and accounting will happen in FI. So if I want to dig back saying that this accounting document has been created with reference to what billing document, or whether a cost center has been generated or not, or a profit center has been generated or not. If you want to trace these all things, how an FI consultant will come to know which is the billing document? These fields, reference number and assignment number. These two fields will help us to pass on the SD document numbers to FI users. And account determination procedure, this is a standard. So anyway, again, we'll discuss this. This comes at the concept of revenue account determination, COFI 00. Right. So that's only the controls in the billing document, nothing much. As I mentioned, we don't play around the billing document type much, right? So with this, we finished discussing about all the document types, that is order. We finished discussing about the order, delivery, and as well invoice, right? All the document type controls has been finished. Now let's move on to a new concept called as, very important concept called as pricing. Okay, so before going to pricing, I want to just tell you something here. See, I hope I already told you this thing earlier. If I miss, let me repeat it now. See, there are two areas in which in the SAP which will pull you back. That is in the SD module. One is item category. If I don't know whether I told this to you earlier or not, because we already finished item category. So by this time itself, you would have understood. It's a vast concept. You need to remember lots of things. You need to remember lots of item categories, item category determinations, item category groups, higher level items, lots of things you need to remember in the item category. If you miss the logic, it's going to get tough, right? So that is one concept. Like a first hurdle you need to cross. We already cleared it. The next hurdle is going to be
Praveen, your
pricing.
screen is blocked.
Can you? No, it's there, right? So the next hurdle is pricing. You just cross the pricing. That's it. Nothing is stopping you. Okay, nothing is stopping you once you cross this particular pricing. So only two areas. One is item category, and I feel that item category is now a easy concept for you. And second concept is pricing. So what issue would be happening is generally by the time you reach pricing, you will be exhausted reading sales document type controls, item category controls, schedule lines, delivery, header, item, billing, lots of fields, controls, scenarios. You will be exhausted by the time you reach pricing. So to make yourself confident, again, what you do, okay, let's start preparation, and you will go back to stage one, that is enterprise structure, because you know enterprise structure well, you know customer master well. You, by creating them, you feel yourself confident. That means you will be running in a loop like this. By the time you come pricing, you feel nervous. Again, you go back and start from the first concept because you are confident. No, you should not do this. You should not do this. You should come out of pricing. You come out of pricing just within 1.5 month, you will get a job. Just 1.5 month, come out of pricing. So to do this, let us follow something from today. That is, whether still you are in customer master or whether still you are in enterprise structure or middle master or sales document type, doesn't matter. From today, practice only pricing from today until we finish pricing. Okay, if you have not read the document types, item category, no worries, later you can read them. From today onwards, I'll upload the video immediately. Go through the video and practice it. Until pricing may take at least 5 to 7 classes. These 7 classes you have to finish in these 7 days. That is seven, the same time. You should not extend it. That's how let's do it. So that let's finish off pricing, so it would be very easy for you to take up the next concepts. Okay, so let's start pricing. What is pricing? If you remember, at the time of master data, I told you there are 4 master datas. One is customer master and material master and CMIR, which we already finished. Customer master, material master, CMIR. And at the time, I also told you one more master data is pricing, or price master, or condition master. It can be called anyway. Why we are calling pricing also a master data? Because price of a product will not change every day. Tax will not change every day, right? That means the values of pricing will not be changing every day. So what we do, we maintain it as a condition record. That means as a master data itself. This also we maintain it as a master data itself and called as a condition master or a price master. So what is pricing is all about? What is pricing is all about? See, pricing works on a concept called as condition technique. Okay, pricing works on a concept called as condition technique. What is condition technique? See, SAP success is condition technique. Is condition technique used only by SD module? No, many modules use condition technique. It used by FI, it is used by EMM, it is used by PP. Many modules use condition technique. It's not only by SD. In the interest of, they ask this question: is condition technique used by only SD or any other module? Okay, any other modules also use condition technique. Okay, so, and is pricing only the concept working on condition technique? No. From today onwards, whatever the concepts we will be discussing end of the training, 90% of the concepts will work on condition technique. Condition technique is like a logic. On the same logic, all 90% of the concepts would be working from today onwards until end of the training. So pricing is not a condition technique, or condition technique is not a synonym to pricing. Pricing is one of the concepts which works on condition technique. There are another 10, 20, 30 concepts also which work on condition technique. So pricing is not condition technique. Okay, it is just one of the concepts which works on condition technique. What is condition technique? What steps we have in a condition technique? See, there are total 6 steps in the condition technique. So what are the 6 steps in the condition technique? 5 steps will be maintained by consultant, 1 step will be maintained by user. That 1 step is called master data. Okay, as a consultant you do condition technique configuration, so user can maintain that particular master data for pricing called as condition records. So the first step of pricing is condition table. Condition table. The second step of condition technique is access sequence. The third step of condition technique is condition type. Fourth step, pricing procedure. Fifth step, pricing procedure determination. This is done by consultant in the SPRO. Okay, this is done by consultant in the SPRO. User will maintain the last step, that is condition record. This is the master data of pricing, condition record. As a consultant, you configure these all things. So first, let's try to understand what is condition table. Okay, your knowledge on pricing will determine how strong you are in SAP SD. Okay, how interviewers will come to conclusion that you are good at knowledge of SAP SD, not going through all concepts. There are 1 or 2 concepts, that is pricing, credit management, copy controls, output determination, and availability check. These 4 or 5 concepts is enough to gauge you how good you are in SAP. Okay, so these 4 concepts is my strongest areas, and I'll pass on the same strongest to you also. So many people fear to tell my strong in the interviews. Definitely they ask this question: what is your strongest areas, or which areas you are good at? Many people fear to tell these 4 concepts, but after pricing you will feel that pricing is nothing for you. That's how we'll discuss pricing. Okay, and many of my trainees got appreciation in the interview also, saying that your knowledge in pricing is exceptional. Usually they don't appreciate in the interviews, but they appreciated saying that your knowledge on pricing concept is exceptional. That's the level we will be discussing pricing. It is pretty easy. Don't even worry about what is condition technique pricing. It's pretty easy. We'll leisurely, elaborately 7 sessions we'll discuss until you understood everything. Right? So first, what is condition table? Okay, let me go to the document. Okay, anyone, what do you mean by database table? What is the contents of database table? Anyone? Technically,
It is made of it's made of row and columns, and the data is stored over there
right?
in
So
fields.
table has fields, right? In the rows and columns, tables has fields. What do you mean by field? Customer is a field. Material is a field. Price is a field. Okay. In some table number 101. In the table number 101, we have these fields. So what is the first step of condition technique? That is creating condition table. How you create a table? With a selection of fields like this. That means the price of material X, this is table number. You created a table with 3 fields. Field number 1, field number 2, field number 2, and field number 3. The price of material X is $1,000. Okay, price of material X is $1,000, selling price. But if customer A is buying this material X, you see one new field, customer A is buying this material X, I want to give it for $900. If customer B is buying this X material, I want to give it for $800. Right? Now you got the point. Why? What is pricing master data? This is master data because the price of X material for B customer will not change every day, right? Whenever this B customer buy this X material, he need to pay only $800. This is price master data, condition record. So first, as a consultant, what you should do, you need to create a table with field combinations. This is condition table. Once you create table like this, you need to place the tables into access sequence. So how do you create tables like this? As I just mentioned, what is a condition table? It is a combination of fields. It is a combination of fields. What fields? It is up to the business. It can be customer material. It can be price list material. It can be only material, right? What is price list? Anyone?
Price list.
Attributes.
Grouping.
Item price.
What is price list? Where we discussed it.
In customer master, grouping of materials who share same pricing attributes.
Attributes, right? Who share the same pricing attributes. So let's assume that we created 3 tables. So what are the 3 tables we created? Customer material, price list material, and material. 3 tables. So this is table number 1, this is table number 2, table number 3. Each table is having different field combinations. So once we have tables, that's the first step. The second step is access sequence, right? That means the tables which are you created, you will put the tables into access sequence. What is an access sequence? Access sequence is a search strategy which will help us to find out valid condition record. Which will help us to find out valid condition record. That means you can see here customer and material. What is the customer number? 213. What is the material? Wax 15. What is the price? 9,000. But what is the material price? Actual material price is 10,000. The material price is 10,000. But if this customer is buying, he is getting for 9,000. So now you tell me, if a customer 222 place an order, what price he will get? What price he has to pay?
10,000.
Why?
222.
Why 10,000?
Because
There is
we
no
haven't
access.
maintained any condition.
Any condition to customer.
Why? Because 222 is not in this particular
Yes.
right. It's not. He's not in the first combination. 222 is not in the second combination. So if we don't prioritize any customer like this for special price, he has to pay the material price. So 222 customer will pay 10,000. If I prioritize customer, that means he's very important for me. I would have maintained a price, special price for him, right? So if a 225 customer place an order, what price he should pay?
10,000.
10,000.
Again 10,000 because he's not in any of the combination. If a 216 customer,
10,000 because it's not maintained.
No. 9,600.
9,600.
9,600 because 216 customer who is a distributor is part of a price list called as Z2. All the customers who are in Z2 price list will have same price 9,600. Okay. If a 214 customer place an order, what price system will pick?
214.
9,000. 9,000.
Yeah.
Right,
9,000.
9,000. Now tell me, if 213 customer place an order, what price system will pick?
9,000.
Are you sure?
No, 9,400.
See, 213
Institutional customer.
customer is here. 213 customer is also here. He also belongs to a Z3 group of institution. What price system should pick now?
9,000.
9,000.
9,000 least price.
Right? So this is what access sequence will decide. What is an access sequence? It is a search strategy to find the valid condition record. How a valid condition record system would be finding using access sequence? That means it will start from here. First check in the combination. Do we have it? Yes. If you don't have it, it will go to the all combinations. It will go to all combinations. If we don't find in any of the combinations, system will pick the last price. If it is 213, 216 customer, let's say, do we have 216 here? No. 16, no.
No.
Do we have 16? No. 16, yes. Okay. System will bring the price 9,600 into the sales order. Okay. So in a access sequence will help us to find a valid condition record from most specific to most general. That is the logic. Most specific to most general. What is most specific in any business? Which is most important for you? A customer is most important for you, right? The prioritized customer. 213, 214 are exclusively prioritized, but a 215 customer is also prioritized, but he's one among 100 dealers. Let's say in Z1 group, there are 100 customers, 100 dealers. Out of that, he is one customer. He will come always next to these two combinations, right? Because these two customers are exclusively picked, but he is picked among a group of customers, right? And here, there is no customer itself, only material. So this is most, always top will be the most specific, and then the last will be the most general. So what happens is, in the access sequence, for every table called combination, you will have a checkbox. For every table combination, you will have a checkbox in the access sequence that is called as exclusive indicator. Okay, exclusive. This exclusive indicator has to be mandatorily activated. Don't ask me why it has to be mandatorily activated. Even SAP don't have any reason for that. When it is mandatory, system should have done something. SAP would have done something, but it should be mandatorily activated. Why it should be mandatorily activated? Because what is exclusive? If we activate exclusive, that means if we check exclusive, and if system finds any valid condition record, it will immediately come out of the search. It will immediately come out of the search. That means if I place, if a 214 customer place an order, system will start from here. It will check first combination. Do we have 214? No. Do we have 214? Yes. Immediately system will come out of and say 9,000, and it will not search in these things. It will not search here. So how exclusive will help? Exclusive will help us to save time and system resources. If you don't have exclusive, what happens? Even though system finds a valid condition record in this combination, system will not stop. It will keep on searching, and it will take the last price. Even though there is a valid condition record here, system will take the last price. If you don't activate exclusive, exclusive is mandatory for every field combination. So access sequence will help us to search for a valid condition record among the combinations, and exclusive will help us to find a valid condition record. And once a valid condition record is found, it will come immediately outside. It will exit the search. It will not proceed, to save time and resource, system resource, right? That is access sequence and exclusive indicator. Okay, so if it is price, I told you that if exclusive indicator is not active, for price, I told you that it will search in all combinations and take the last one, even though customer is eligible for this. If the order is for 214 customer, even though customer is eligible for 9,000, but system will take 10,000 if you don't activate exclusive. That is for base price. If it is discount, then let's say this combination discount is 3%. This combination is 5%. This combination is 2%. If it is case of discount, system will search all the combinations and get all the discounts. 3 plus 5 plus 2. System will give all the discounts. If it is discount, system will give all the discounts. It will activate all. If it is a base price, it will take the last one and deactivate the earlier previous ones, right? That is exclusive and access sequence. So what we do, we create condition tables, and tables we put it in access sequence. We place tables into access sequence. Then third step, we assign access sequence to condition type. Condition type. What is condition type? See, how many kinds of discounts is possible in business? Anyone? At least three. Anyone? Can you please mute everyone? At least three.
Cash discount. Cash discount one.
Okay.
Quantity discount.
Okay.
Value based volume based discount.
Value based discount, right? That means there is no stop. Any possibility you can give. So let's say quantity based discount. That is material. That's called as technically in the SAP material discount. That means for one X material, I want to give $1 discount. If customer is buying 100 X material, what will be the discount? $100 discount. This is quantity, material based discount. How you identify this in SAP? K004. Second discount. If this customer X is buying this material Y, I want to give $10 discount. When? Only if this X customer is buying Y material. This is customer material combination. That is K005. Irrespective of material, he's a very good customer. If he buys something, I want to give 5% discount, irrespective of material. If this customer is buying something, he automatically gets 5% discount. That is K007. That means if you have this one combination of discount, how you identify them each? By condition type. These are condition type. See, if every price has a elements, right? What are the pricing elements? If you go to a store, if the store person was telling that the price of this X material is $1,000, what is this $1,000? That is price minus discount. You get gross value. For this gross value, you add surcharges like say loading charge, packing charge, or anything, freight. You will get a net value. For this net value, you add tax. You will get total value, whatever you need to pay, that is $1,000. Net value will go to company, tax go to the government. That means a price will always have some elements like this. You can call it as pricing elements, pricing attributes, pricing components, whatever you call it. Every price will have these kind of components. But how system will differentiate and identify it? That is through condition type. Through a condition type, if it's a price, that is PR00. Discount, there are n number of discounts like this, K004, K005, K000, lots of surcharges, tax, freight, KF00, tax, MWST, IGST, CAGST, lot of. So like this, that means what is a condition type? A condition type is it's a pricing element or a component which will help the system to identify what kind of pricing element it is, right? So once we create a condition type, we assign it to access sequence. We place tables into access sequence. Then after we assign this access sequence to condition type, then fourth step, pricing procedure. Pricing procedure. So we place now condition types into pricing procedure. What is the logic in placing this condition types into pricing procedure? Let's say if I want to arrive at this correct price of $1,000, if I do it like this, is it possible to get the correct price? Tax, price, discount, surcharge. Will it give me the correct total price if I do it like this, or if I put it like this? Anyone? Always pricing component should be in a sequence, right? price minus discount gross value plus surcharge net value plus tax is equal to total value. So when you put your condition types like this, then only you will arrive at a correct price. If you place something like this, no, you will not arrive at a correct price. So whenever you are placing this condition type into the procedure, the logic is you need to place them in a sequence. Okay, always you should place condition types into the procedure in a sequence. Okay, the last step is pricing procedure determination, OVKK. That you don't do every time, you do it only for the first time, only one time you will do it. That's called as OVKK, pricing procedure determination, with a combination of some parameters that we'll discuss in the next session. Some background. Yeah, that's from the Shashank. Yeah, so this is what all about the condition technique. Okay, that's it for today. First, let's try to understand today only the terminology and what exactly it is. In the next session on Monday, we'll see in the system, and let us determine base price. First, let's determine only base price. How price getting into the sales document? First, let us try to understand. Then let's create a pricing structure. Then apply some scenarios onto that particular pricing structure, right? So condition table, access sequence, condition type, pricing procedure determination. At last is condition record, right? So any questions for today on this?
Yes, Praveen. In billing document, I have a question.
Yeah.
When we do billing, then earlier you said the truck driver needs to be given an invoice. And here, if we have given posting block and invoice is not created for that matter, for that reason,
Okay.
then how can we give him invoice right then?
Yeah, I also told you, right? Posting block is not for invoice. Posting block is for credit memo, debit memo, and for other type of documents. Okay. Posting block. If you have a posting block, after releasing the posting block itself, your delivery will happen. Got the point? Or else you should carry a proforma invoice.
Yes. How will then create that proforma invoice from F5?
It depends again whether it is yeah, you were telling about order, so it is F8. F5 is order related.
But
F8
F8 is
delivery related.
F8 is not proforma invoice.
F8 is proforma invoice delivery related. There are two proforma invoice. One is order related and one is delivery related. F5,
Okay. Then we will do billing with F8 and give the proforma invoice.
Do with the F8. No, you generally don't do with F8. You do it with F1 itself. Only after releasing it, the posting block, then only you do the delivery, physical delivery. Actual delivery in the system you can do it, because without delivery, system will not allow you to create an invoice. Okay. So the physical delivery you will be doing only when you release the posting block. Okay.
Okay, I will try it once again in system then.
Okay.
And one more question is there, Praveen. You talked about this reverse PGI VL09 with movement type 602. And one more movement type is there, 653 for over delivery, good quality stock. Can we not use this 653 for reverse PGI?
No, you cannot do that, because 602 is reverse of 601. Okay. So in what context you are taking the stock back, that matters. So in the 602, customer is returning the complete stock, whatever he has taken earlier, using 601. But here now customer is returning only the partial stock, which is over delivered. If you deliver 150, only that extra 50 he don't want it.
Okay, this is one condition. Whole stock has to be given back.
Yes.
Okay, there may be case that the billing also has been done. Then this process will be followed again by credit memo, this VL09N. Is it like?
Obviously.
Okay, Praveen. Okay, thank you.
But any other questions, anyone?
No.
So I'll upload this video at the earliest today itself, and please go through the video before next session.
Uh,
As I told you,
Praveen, that
yeah, go ahead.
movement type document you had asked to share, that is not there in the drive.
No, I sent it yesterday email. You just check.
Hello.
Okay,
So
okay.
yesterday email I just sent it. Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
So let's call it a day today and catch up on next weekend. Next weekend we'll start with this particular. Sorry, next week on Monday we'll start with the configuration of pricing.
Hello.
See you all. Good night. Bye bye.